Yeah, that study already exists, and here's the thing. Yeah, it's England's fault that Americans call it soccer and not football. So just accept it and move on. The paper was done by Stefan Szymanski, who is a sports economist at the University of Michigan, and he wrote a book also called It's Football, Not Soccer, and Vice Versa, which covers the history and theories around how the term was invented. And also, we do actually have sources that say it's not about kicking it with your foot. For example, this description of football mentions that it's actually illegal to kick the ball with your feet. So the game was this: he who at any time got the ball into his hands run with it till overtaken by one of the opposite part. And then if he could shake himself loose from those on the opposite side who seized him, he run on. If not, he threw the ball from him unless it was wrestled from him from the other party. But no person was allowed to kick it. So the theory that the sport was called football exclusively because you kick it with your foot just really doesn't hold up to most scrutiny. Most of which is from the fact that we have different codes of football that don't really use your feet as the primary way to move the ball. And it's not just the Americans with American football. The English have their own too, rugby football. The Australians have their own football as well. The Irish have their own football too. And the Canadians have a version of football that's very similar to American football. But the thing is this: the fact that we have these other codes of football, that kicking it is not the primary way you move the ball, kind of makes the theory that it's about kicking the ball a little less plausible. To where the theory that it's about being played on foot opposed to being played on horseback is much more plausible under this theory. Now, is it also possible that there have been competing theories for the origin of the name? Yes, it's plausible that the split between carrying it and kicking it is as old as the game itself. And that's perfectly fine. If you want to go that route, I don't think that's a problem. But the problem is, you reject any and all evidence that suggests otherwise. And that's typical of you, because your main criteria is the American has to be wrong and you correct. But that's not how the real world works. The real world works with actual evidence and actual argument, something you guys are not very interested in. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, why are you guys so flustered about it? Americans call it soccer because we have a more mainstream sport here, also called football. And we're not the only country that does that. At the end of the day, we, in theory, at least like the same sport. Now, in practice, I think it might be different. I like soccer, also known as association football. I think you just like talking crap on the internet. I'm not sure you actually like the sport at all.